The 1970s were not the best decade for American car design. Due to new safety rules, fuel crises, and cost cutting, many cars became bulky, awkward, and unattractive. Models like the AMC Pacer, with its strange bubble shape, and the Ford Pinto, known for its odd proportions and safety issues, became symbols of poor design. The Chevrolet Chevette and Dodge Aspen also disappointed, with dull styling and weak performance. Designers tried to look futuristic, but often failed. Despite their flaws, these cars are now nostalgic reminders of a difficult but interesting era in American automotive history.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Number 7. The AMC Gremlin is one of the most unusual and discussed cars in American automotive history. Produced by the American Motors Corporation from 1970 to 1978, the Gremlin was AMC's bold and somewhat desperate attempt to compete with the growing number of small, fuel-efficient cars arriving from Japan and Europe. At the time, American manufacturers were known for large, powerful vehicles that consumed a lot of fuel. However, by the end of the 1960s, social and economic changes, as well as the rising price of gasoline, forced car companies to think smaller. The Gremlin was AMC's answer to this new demand for compact cars. The Gremlin's design was one of its most distinctive and controversial features. The car was created by cutting off the back end of the AMC Hornet, which gave it a very short, almost abrupt rear section. This design decision was made to save money and production time, but it resulted in a shape that many people found unattractive. Critics often joke that the car looked as if it had been chopped in half. Its sloping rear window and stubby tail made it stand out on the road, but not always in a positive way. Despite this, some drivers liked its quirky, almost cartoonish appearance, and it quickly became a recognizable symbol of 1970s car design. Mechanically, the AMC Gremlin was simple and practical. It used reliable engines that were already in production for other AMC models, including the 232 and 258 cubic inch engines. Later, smaller four-cylinder engines were added to improve fuel economy. The Gremlin was rear-wheel drive, easy to maintain, and relatively inexpensive to buy. In 1970, it sold for under $2,000, making it one of the cheapest American cars available. For many young drivers or families looking for an affordable second car, the Gremlin was a practical choice. The interior of the Gremlin reflected AMC's effort to keep costs low. It was basic, with limited space, especially in the back seat, and minimal decoration. However, buyers could choose optional upgrades, such as a sportier trim, a vinyl roof, or special stripes, which appealed to those who wanted a little personality in their small car. AMC also offered unique paint colors and advertising campaigns that embraced the Gremlin's odd appearance. The company's strategy was to market the car's weirdness as a kind of charm, suggesting that owning a Gremlin meant you were independent and not afraid to stand out. Number 6. The Ford Pinto is one of the most famous and controversial cars in American automotive history. Produced by the Ford Motor Company from 1971 to 1980, the Pinto was designed to meet the growing demand for small, inexpensive, and fuel-efficient vehicles. During the late 1960s and early 1970s, American car makers were under increasing pressure from the arrival of efficient Japanese and European imports, as well as from changing consumer expectations. The Pinto was Ford's attempt to prove that an American company could build a compact car that was affordable, stylish, and practical for everyday use. The Pinto's design was simple and lightweight, with clean lines and a short body. It came in several versions, including a two-door sedan, a hatchback, and a station wagon. Ford wanted the Pinto to feel young, modern, and fun to drive. It was powered by small four-cylinder engines that provided decent fuel economy, and its low price made it attractive to first-time car buyers, students, and families looking for an economical second car. At first, the Pinto was a commercial success, selling hundreds of thousands of units and helping Ford compete in a market it had previously ignored. However, the Pinto's reputation changed dramatically after reports emerged about its safety problems. The most infamous issue involved the placement of its fuel tank. Because of its position behind the rear axle and the limited space between the tank and the rear bumper, the Pinto could catch fire in a rear-end collision. This design flaw led to several accidents and lawsuits, and the car soon became the center of one of the biggest scandals in automotive history. Investigations later revealed that engineers had discovered the risk early in development, but that company management decided not to make safety modifications, as they would have been too expensive and might have delayed production. This decision created a public relations disaster. The Pinto case, as it came to be known, became a symbol of corporate negligence and greed. It was even studied in business ethics courses as an example of what happens when profit is valued more than safety. Despite these problems, not every Pinto was dangerous, and many owners continued to use them without incident. Still, the damage to Ford's reputation was significant. The name Pinto became associated with poor engineering and moral failure, overshadowing what could have been a decent small car. From a technical point of view, the Pinto was not much worse than many of its competitors at the time. The 1970s were a period of experimentation and transition for car design, and all manufacturers were learning how to build smaller vehicles. But the Pinto story stands out because of the ethical debate it sparked and the emotional impact of its accidents. Ford did make improvements to later versions, adding protective shields and better design features, but the car's image never fully recovered. Today, the Ford Pinto remains a fascinating part of automotive history. It reminds us how innovation, competition, and corporate decisions can sometimes lead to unintended consequences. Some car collectors now restore Pintos as a way of preserving this controversial chapter of the American auto industry. Though often remembered as one of the ugliest or most dangerous cars ever made, the Pinto also represents a key moment in the evolution of safety standards and public awareness. It is a lesson in both engineering and ethics, a story about ambition, mistakes, and the complex relationship between technology and responsibility.
Number 5.
The Chevrolet Vega is one of the most memorable examples of both ambition and disappointment in American automotive history. Produced by General Motors from 1970 to 1977, the Vega was intended to be Chevrolet's answer to the rising popularity of small, fuel-efficient cars from Japan and Europe. At the time, American car makers were under strong pressure to create compact vehicles that could compete with imports like the Toyota Corolla, the Volkswagen Beetle, and the Datsun 510. The Vega began with high hopes and bold promises, but its story quickly turned into one of the most criticized chapters in the history of General Motors. When it was first introduced, the Chevrolet Vega was praised for its modern and attractive design. It had a clean, sporty appearance with a long hood and a short rear deck, which made it look more stylish than most small cars of its era. Chevrolet marketed the Vega as a sophisticated compact vehicle that combined economy with performance and comfort. It was lightweight, easy to handle, and affordable, which helped it gain early success. During its first years, sales were strong, and the car even won awards for its design and engineering. However, beneath its appealing exterior, the Vega suffered from serious mechanical and quality problems. One of the biggest issues was its aluminum engine, which was supposed to be a technological innovation. Chevrolet engineers had developed a new type of lightweight aluminum block with cast iron cylinder liners to reduce weight and improve efficiency. Unfortunately, this engine design was fragile and prone to overheating. When the engine became too hot, it could warp or crack, leading to loss of compression, oil leaks, and early engine failure. Many owners found themselves replacing engines after only a few years of use. In addition to its engine troubles, the Vega had severe rust problems. The car's body panels were thin and its corrosion protection was poor. In colder, wet climates, Vegas could begin to rust within months, sometimes even before they were sold from dealership lots. Stories spread of Vegas developing holes in their fenders and doors long before reaching 50,000 miles. These reliability issues quickly destroyed the car's reputation. What has started as a symbol of innovation turned into a national joke about American manufacturing quality. General Motors tried to fix the Vegas problems through recalls and redesigns, but the damage was already done. The company issued several technical updates to strengthen the engine and improve rust protection, yet consumers had lost trust. The Vega became a lesson in how rushing a product to market without proper testing can lead to disaster. Its decline was also a reflection of the challenges American automakers faced during the 1970s: rising fuel prices, stricter regulations, and growing competition from more reliable foreign cars. By 1977, Chevrolet finally discontinued the Vega, replacing it with the Monza and other models that borrowed from its design but avoided its most serious flaws. Today, the Vega is remembered as both a failure and a fascinating experiment. Some car collectors appreciate it for its historical importance, seeing it as a symbol of a turbulent era when the American car industry struggled to adapt to new global realities. Although often listed among the ugliest or worst built cars of the 1970s, the Chevrolet Vega remains a valuable case study in engineering, management, and the dangers of overpromising innovation without ensuring quality.
Number 4.
The AMC Hornet was one of the most important models produced by the American Motors Corporation, serving as a foundation for several of the company's later cars. Built between 1970 and 1977, the Hornet represented AMC's attempt to create a practical, versatile compact car that could appeal to a wide range of American consumers. During the 1970s, AMC was a much smaller company compared to giants like Ford, General Motors, and Chrysler. However, it survived by focus on niche markets, innovative design, and efficient use of limited resources. The Hornet perfectly illustrated this strategy, combining simplicity, affordability, and adaptability. When the AMC Hornet debuted in 1970, it was offered as a two-door or four-door sedan, and later as a station wagon. The design was clean and balanced, with traditional proportions and minimal ornamentation. Compared to the more experimental and sometimes strange-looking cars of the 1970s, the Hornet was conservative, even elegant in its simplicity. This helped it appeal to buyers who wanted a reliable American car without the bulk or excess of larger models. It was often praised for its comfortable interior, straightforward mechanics, and ease of maintenance. The Hornet was built on a new platform that was both lightweight and strong, allowing AMC to adapt it for several other cars in the future. Under the hood, the Hornet came with a variety of engines, from an economical inline-4 to AMC's durable inline-6, and even smart V8 options for drivers who wanted more power. The car was rear-wheel drive and used traditional mechanical systems, making it easy for owners to repair and maintain. Its solid engineering and practical design gave it a reputation for reliability, which was especially valuable during the uncertain years of the 1970s fuel crises. The Hornet's performance was modest but dependable, offering a good balance between efficiency and everyday usability. What made the Hornet especially significant was its flexibility. AMC used the Hornet's basic structure to create several other vehicles, including the sporty AMC Hornet AMX, the quirky Gremlin, and even the four-wheel drive AMC Eagle in the early 1980s. This ability to reuse and adapt the same platform saved AMC money and kept the company competitive despite its smaller size. The Hornet was also one of the first American compact cars to offer hatchback and wagon versions, giving families practical choices in an era when fuel economy and space efficiency were becoming more important than ever. In terms of marketing, AMC promoted the Hornet as a smart and honest car, an alternative to both the oversized American sedans and the small foreign imports. Advertisements highlighted its value, durability, and straightforward design. While the Hornet was never a bestseller, It maintained steady sales throughout its production life and earned a loyal customer base. Its image was of quiet reliability rather than flash or excitement.
Number 3.
The Plymouth Valiant is remembered as one of the most dependable and well-engineered compact cars of its time. Produced by the Chrysler Corporation under the Plymouth brand from 1960 to 1976, the Valiant was Chrysler's answer to the growing popularity of smaller, more economical cars in the American market. During the late 1950s, American automakers began to realize that not all drivers wanted large, powerful vehicles. Rising fuel costs and changing lifestyles encouraged a new generation of buyers to look for practicality, efficiency, and reliability. The Plymouth Valiant became Chrysler's solution to this demand, offering a compact design without sacrificing strength or quality. When it first appeared in 1960, the Valiant was considered stylish and slightly futuristic. It featured bold, sculpted body lines and a distinctive grille that set it apart from other small cars of the era. Over time, its design became more conservative, but its reputation for mechanical strength only grew stronger. Unlike some competitors that focused mainly on price, the Valiant was built with durability in mind. Chrysler engineers designed it to last, using proven mechanical components and a sturdy unibody structure. This solid construction gave the car a long life, and many Valiants remained on the road decades after they were first sold. The heart of the Plymouth Valiant's success was its legendary Slant 6 engine. Introduced with the car and named for the 30-degree angle of its cylinders, the Slant 6 became famous for its smooth performance, impressive fuel economy, and remarkable reliability. It could endure high mileage and rough driving conditions with minimal maintenance. This engine quickly developed a loyal following among drivers and mechanics alike, and it helped establish the Valiant as one of the toughest compact cars of its generation. Throughout the 1960s and early 1970s, the Valiant came in several body styles, including 2- and 4-door sedans, convertibles, and station wagons. It was practical, easy to repair, and affordable, making it popular with families, students, and working-class Americans. The car's handling was stable, and its ride was comfortable for its size. The interior was simple but well-built, emphasizing functionality over luxury. While the Valiant was not flashy, it represented honest engineering and consistent performance at a reasonable price. During the 1970s, as the automotive world changed due to new emission standards and the oil crisis, the Valiant continued to serve as a dependable and modest vehicle. However, by the mid-1970s, competition from newer and more fuel-efficient models, especially from Japanese manufacturers, began to challenge it. Chrysler eventually phased out the Valiant name in favor of newer models like the Plymouth Bel-Air, which replaced it in 1976. Although its production ended, the Valiant had already secured its reputation as one of Chrysler's most successful and respected cars.
Number 2. The AMC Rambler occupies a unique and respected place in American automotive history. Produced by the American Motors Corporation and its predecessor, Nash Motors, from the early 1950s through the late 1960s, the Rambler became a symbol of practicality, economy, and innovation during a period dominated by large, extravagant cars. When other manufacturers were competing to build bigger and more powerful vehicles, the Rambler offered something different, a small, efficient, and affordable alternative. It represented a bold decision by AMC to challenge the expectations of the American car market and to serve drivers who valued simplicity, comfort, and reliability over excess and flash. The Rambler name first appeared under Nash Motors in 1950, but it became central to AMC's identity after the merger of Nash and Hudson in 1954. George W. Romney, who later became president of AMC, made the Rambler the company's main focus. Under his leadership, AMC promoted the car as the smart buy, a slogan that perfectly captured its appeal to sensible consumers. While competitors like Chevrolet and Ford offered huge cars with chrome-covered styling and V8 engines, the Rambler emphasized fuel economy, practicality, and ease of driving. This strategy worked remarkably well, especially in the late 1950s when a recession made large cars less desirable. Design-wise, the Rambler was straightforward but attractive. It featured clean lines, moderate proportions, and a well-organized interior. Unlike many of its contemporaries, it did not try to impress through size or unnecessary decoration. Instead, it offered a comfortable ride, good visibility, and thoughtful details such as fold-down seats that increased cargo space. The Rambler was available in several body styles, including sedans, wagons, and convertibles, giving buyers flexibility while maintaining its reputation for efficiency. Mechanically, the Rambler was reliable and economical. It was equipped with smaller, fuel-efficient engines that were easy to maintain and inexpensive to operate. This practicality made it especially appealing to middle-class families and older drivers who wanted dependable transportation. The car's unibody construction also made it lighter and more durable than many of its competitors, contributing to its strong safety record and long lifespan. During the early 1960s, the Rambler reached its peak of popularity. It became one of America's best-selling cars and even won several industry awards for quality and value. The Rambler American, a smaller version introduced during this period, helped AMC compete directly with the new wave of compact cars such as the Ford Falcon and Chevrolet Convair. Consumers appreciated its simplicity and affordability, and the Rambler brand became almost synonymous with common sense and practicality. However, as the 1960s progressed, consumer tastes began to change. Americans grew interested in sportier and more stylish cars, and AMC struggled to keep the Rambler's image fresh. By the late 1960s, the company started to phase out the Rambler name, replacing it with newer models like the AMC Rebel and the AMC Hornet. Still, the legacy of the Rambler endured. It had helped define AMC's identity as the company that dared to be different, one that focused on efficiency and value rather than size and speed.
Number 1. The AMC Matador is one of the most distinctive and ambitious cars ever produced by the American Motors Corporation. Built from 1971 to 1978, the Matador represented AMC's effort to move beyond its image as a maker of small, economical cars and into the mainstream midsize market. During the early 1970s, AMC wanted to compete directly with popular models such as the Ford Torino, Chevrolet Chevelle, and Dodge Cornet. To do this, the company needed a car that offered comfort, style, and performance while still maintaining the practicality and individuality that had defined AMC's earlier successes. The Matador became that car, though not without controversy. When the AMC Matador was first introduced, it replaced the AMC Rebel and was offered in several body styles, including a sedan, a station wagon, and later a distinctive two-door coupe. The early versions were conservative in design, but functional and well-built. They featured clean lines, solid construction, and a range of engines from the reliable inline-six to more powerful V8 options. The car was appreciated for its good handling and comfortable ride, especially compared to other mid-size cars of its era. Police departments even used Matadors as patrol cars, thanks to their durability and balanced performance. However, in 1974, AMC completely redesigned the Matador Coupe, giving it one of the most unusual and futuristic looks ever seen on an American car. Designed by Richard Teague, AMC's talented head of design, the new coupe featured large curved body panels, a white stance, and distinctive round headlight pods that gave it a bold, almost exotic appearance. While AMC hoped this daring styling would attract younger buyers, the public's reaction was mixed. Some people admired its originality, but others found it strange or unattractive. The Matador Coupe quickly earned a reputation as one of the most unusual-looking cars of the decade, a design either loved or mocked depending on who was looking. Despite its polarizing appearance, the Matador Coupe had some success in motorsport. AMC entered it in NASCAR racing, where it performed surprisingly well. Drivers like Mark Donohue and Bobby Allison helped the Matador achieve several competitive finishes, giving AMC valuable publicity and proving that the company could produce a capable performance car. These racing achievements gave the Matador a degree of respect that went beyond its looks.
Still, in the marketplace, sales never reached the levels AMC had hoped for. By the mid-1970s, the American auto industry faced major challenges due to the oil crisis, strict emissions laws, and changing consumer preferences. The Matador, with its large engines and bold styling, struggled to fit into this new reality.